Mhm.
Okay, just wondering because it said host is muted you, and I was like, whoopsie, but then it flipped off, so we're all good. Okay, so tonight I wanted to cover something kind of a little bit different. I went to school, graduated, top of my class, summa cum laude, woo-hoo, paid lots of money for education. I'm using it right. I'm using it right now. I gotta put it in where I can get it in. So I graduated with a degree in clinical psychology, and I actually did my thesis paper on this subject, and this part of kind of the science behind the behavior of what we do. And I thought, how can I apply that? And by the way, I got 100% on that. I was the only person in the class to get 100%. It's kind of a big deal to get 100 in your thesis. I have to brag somewhere, right? Because I'm not practicing, and I'm not like, I don't have an office open, and, so I got to use it somewhere, right? Anyway, so tonight we are going to go over the science behind our behavior briefly, but then we're going to go through the proven ways that we can use what we know to change our realities and our businesses here. Because a lot of people spend a lot of time in therapy to get to the first part of this, which takes like this much time. And then they try it and never get to the part where you can change your entire life. And I'm going to give you that in probably 30 minutes or less. And it works not just for our businesses, but it also works for our lives. And I mean, our lives and our businesses, they coexist. That's why we do what we do. Most of us are doing this because we want our lives to be better and fuller. So when we apply these kind of things, it will help kind of the whole shebang. So we're going to look at a for instance, okay? Say there's a huge, some kind of terrible tragedy that has happened, and the entire nation is looking at it, and you notice that everybody starts taking different opinions, and they take different routes, and they handle it a different way. So let's say 100 people out of those view some sort of horrible tragedy. So we have 70 people cancer their whole day. They go wallow in their sorrow. They get through it, and they go on. 10 people go on completely unaffected. They go, bad things happen, and they move on. 5 people set up fundraising efforts because they think, okay, if we can bring some money in for those affected, it'll help. That'll be my way to help, okay? 10 people are now affected long-term and require significant mental health treatments for months to years, and sometimes it never happens to help them. But 5 people, and that's only 5% of this, okay? And we are that small percentage of people as leaders in this business. We are that small percent who see things kind of from a little different perspective. 5% view this as a sign, not something bad, but they go, okay, you know what? I need to start enjoying my life more. I need to spend more time with my kids. I've got to make more time for my family. I need to go to their events. I need to, maybe work in this great network marketing opportunity that we have. They notice that they're nicer to people that they see. They're not just walking through and not caring. All of a sudden, they realize how life is short. And this tragedy, no matter how bad it is, has affected them in a positive way. So why are 10 people now in long-term care? They just can't get over it. But 5 people have a better life even in the midst of this huge tragedy. And I can tell you why, and it's a really short formula. And it's because A does not equal C. B equals C. And you're like, what is A, what's B, and what's C, and how can we do this, right? So our Ellis, which is kind of an icon in the field of psychology, believed with Epictetus that men are disturbed not by things, but the view they take of those things. So how we interpret events is important, because that's going to be our reality. Our perception is our reality. So if there is something going on in our lives or our businesses, how we think about that is our reality. And everything forward from there goes off of our perception and how we're thinking. So what's A, B, and C? A is an activating event. It's any event that happens in your life that it just happens, okay? B is the belief, your thoughts about A, your thoughts about what happened, those people's thoughts about that tragedy. And C is the consequence, the behavioral and emotional consequences. So Ellis believed that if there's a problem at C, if your emotional consequences to something are causing you to have an imbalance in your homeostasis, meaning that you're just not feeling right about something, he thought it's not what happens in our lives, it's how we look at it. So we're going to learn that A is an activating event, B is our belief about that, and C is our emotional consequence. And when we apply this to our business, A is anything that happens in our lives or our business. B is our belief about that. And C is going to be the consequence to your life and ultimately to your business. So how does this help us here? When something happens in your life, A, any event, any activating event, you need to go, how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to look at this? And what thought process is going to lead to the most favorable result? So what is my perception of everything in my life going to do to ultimately change my life? So if you have something going on in your life and you are looking at how it's affecting your business and you go, I just can't. This happened. A happened. I can't get over it. It's leading to this. And you have a whole bunch of reasons that you start making of why you can't make your business go because of A, right? We're going to learn D and E. 2 simple steps to make you realize that A never matters. It's only B. The only thing that matters is what you believe about it and how you use that in your business. So D is disputing the self-defeating behaviors that you're having, the way you're thinking about things that happen in your life and how you're allowing those to become excuses and ways to stop you from doing what you need to do. And E is an effect, the consequence of challenging your self-defeating thoughts, meaning that that's going to be your new B. So if your B is not working, you need to get a new B. So you need to go to D. You need to go, A, this is what's happened. B, this is how I'm thinking about it. It's not giving me a good C. The consequences in my life and my business are not good. So I'm going to dispute those. I'm going to get a different belief, and that's how it's going to fix my business. So let's do an example, right? We all hear people, we get questions as leaders all the time. Hey, I have this person who's fallen off for 90 days. Not only have they fallen off for 90 days, but now they're not even presenters anymore. And they're doubting everything because they think, well, I didn't do it in 90 days. And if I didn't do it the first time, why is it going to work for me the second time? And you might see that this person has a lot of potential, right? But you look at them and you go, well, what am I going to do to talk to them? Or maybe you're going through it yourself and you go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've done this and I've done this and I've done this. Well, you have done those things, and that's great. Let's look at how we're looking at those things and how you're taking that in so you can change it. So you're going to look at what really happened. What really happened is A, you dropped the ball. It doesn't matter why you dropped the ball. That's not even a problem. We don't even focus on it. We don't wallow in what has happened. We just look at it and go, the belief. How have I been thinking about the situation really? Have I been helping it by boosting it up with extra excuses? Have I been going, this happened, so now this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad? Or am I going, you know what? When I dropped that ball, I saw that I did not like the result. Oh, great. I got a nice message from a gentleman. Don't want to open that one up. Anyways, you need to look at that and go, how is that? How am I looking at that? Because that is going to be C, the consequence. And the consequence in this instance is your business. How is this going to affect your business? So how do we fix it? We dispute the thoughts that get us nowhere. Like those people you see that fall off and they just don't want to get back up because they make many, many, many excuses as to why. And you, if you really want to fix it, you're going to dispute those beliefs. It doesn't matter what happens in your life. This can apply to your life, aside, nothing to do with your business. And this can apply to your life in your business and your business altogether. It is not what happens to you that makes a difference. It's how you take what's happened to you, how you process that in your mind, and how you let that affect you. And it's a great thing because a lot of people feel like they just don't have any control. When something bad happens to us, the first thing that really bothers us is we really lost control. We've lost control of it because something bad's happened, and now what do? You can regain all the control in your life that you want to by thinking about what's happened and changing your belief system about what happened. You know what? Maybe God said this is just what you needed, okay? Maybe if you're going through a divorce, you know what? Maybe you've got to let the wrong one let you go to let the right one find you. There are so many instances where we don't understand what's happening to us, but we have to change our belief system. And if you're having a problem where you're seeing that the consequences to your life and thereby your business, it's just not good, then we need to start looking at D. We need to start disputing the behaviors that we're having and the ideas that we're having toward everything that's happening in our life so that we can have the E, which is the effect on our business. Because that, like your thoughts, can bounce back too. So what does this all mean? You and only you control your business and your entire life by your thought process. Anytime something is going on and you don't like it, go back and find the A's in your life, the B's, your beliefs about everything that's happening in your life, and see what your C's are. If you notice that the consequences in your life, if you notice that things are going in a path you don't want them to go, then you're going to need to move on to D. You're going to need to start disputing all the ways that you're thinking about things, whether you're making excuses and you're just simply going, this is too hard, or I don't know enough people, or you know what? People are successful in this business because of a few things. And one thing is they go, you know what? I'm going to be consistent. If nothing else, I'm just going to be consistent, and I'm going to believe. That's why doing all of this personal development is important. And that's why you read things from other presenters or network marketing professionals. And if you ever in your head go, that's great for them, but that is not what you should be doing, because your B is leading to a negative C. The consequences in your life are not going to be good if you can't change that thought pattern behind it. So every time you see that something's going wrong in your life, go, man, my B's no good, and now my C's no good. I need to find a D. I need to dispute what's going on up here so that I can have a different E. I can have a different effect, because it doesn't always have to be the same way. And if you find in your life the same things keep happening, you're getting the same results no matter what you're doing. It's because you need to change up here what you're thinking about you're doing in order to change what's happening. So what are other things that this theory can apply to? What about recruiting? Okay, you're going out and you're trying to recruit people and you're hearing no, and you know you're going to hear a lot of no's before you hear yeses. So you go, I'm getting no's, that everything's good. You know what? You're getting no's. That means you're out there and you're doing your job and you're working and you're actually talking to people. So take that instead. And that's going to make you go, you know what, I'm doing my job. And if I do my job, I'm going to get where I want to go. Say you drop, like we talked about before, you drop the ball for 90 days and you're like, I just don't know. Change the thought process. Those weren't working for you. So when something happens in your business or your life in general, instead of going, this has happened, it's terrible, I'm screwed, what do I do? You need to be changing those thought processes that are going on inside your head, so that you can have a different outcome. Because if you want a different outcome, it's not necessarily what you're doing. It's what you're thinking about. And if you change your mindset to, I can do this, I will do this, this is something that is important to me and I'm going to do it, you will find a way. A lot of it lives right up here. That's why everybody says personal development. If you're reading the personal development or you're watching it or you're doing it and you're looking at it and going, that's great for them, but that's what's going on. That B is in your head. Your beliefs are not aligned with where they need to be to get you where you want to go. You need to dispute what's going on up here. You need to spend some time with yourself and think, you know, how am I looking at what I'm having to work for? How am I looking at that? And see if you can, yes, don't just take it personally, just work on it. You're right, Delaney. So if anybody has any questions about, you know, well, I'm having this problem, so how would you change and how would you dispute your beliefs to get a different effect? Hit me with it. Or any questions? Do you see anything, Kylie? Because I can't.
No, I don't see any questions yet.
Okay.
Just this is amazing.
Hey.
And not to take things personally, just work it.
Exactly. So, it's a simple ABC. Everybody knows their ABCs, right? And if you get to your ABCs, okay, what are all the letters again? So A is the activating event. It's anything that happens in your life that causes you to have to think about something. Your tire blew out. You can't get home to promise. You've promised a live at 2 p.m. Your tire blew out, and now you think the world's come to an end. You can get there. Yeah, exactly, Nicole. You can get there. It takes a long time to get there until you get comfortable with the ABC. So A is the activating event. B is your belief toward anything that happens. And C is the consequences of your beliefs. So A is what happens, the activating event. B is your belief toward that event. And C is the consequences. And A does not equal C. So everybody thinks something happened, so this. And that's not true. It's the middle. It's your belief about this that leads to what's happening here. And if A and B happen and C come out and it's not good, then you need to go to D, and that's disputing your beliefs. So disputing B. So you're going to draw a little line up to B, and you're going to say, no, I'm not, my beliefs are not good on this. I need to look at it a different way. And then E is going to be the new effect. So your new effect or consequence. So if A, B, and C happen and it's not flowing and things aren't good, you need to X out B. You need to think, what are my thoughts toward this? Get out a piece of paper and go, these are the things 1 through 5, all your A's, all the activating events that you've had happen to you that's causing you to think a certain way about your business or your life. And then B, beside it, draw a little arrow to B and say, this is my belief toward it. And don't try to think at that moment, what is a good belief? Think about what the belief you have now is, because that's what's giving your C, your consequence. So that's what's giving you your life. C is your life. It's how things are turning out. And then go, this isn't working. I have to admit to myself, this isn't working. So you go down to D and you cross out B, and then you think, what's a better way to look at this that can actually help my life? And you put that up where B is, draw your little arrow, and then go over to E, the effect. How did changing my beliefs towards something that's happened, how did changing my beliefs give me a different effect? How did that C change from something that wasn't helping me to something that is helping me? And if you need me to, I can. Yes, social anxiety in the room. Yes, you have to change that belief system, especially this. And if anybody has a struggle with that and you see a psychologist or psychiatrist say, hey, what do you think about Albert Ellis's theory? And they're probably going to go, well, you know about that. Say, what do you know about that? Because if you're good at it, hit me with some with that, because it can help you in all kinds of ways in your life. If something happens, you always have to stop and go, yes, I can make a diagram, and I will post it in the group, and then you guys can copy that off. I'll make that after we get off here, and I'll post it up there. But you're going to mark the B out. If the C is not good, if the C, yeah, anxieties, I'm there with you too, girl. I'm there too. Anxiety is something, but beliefs, and don't be afraid. Sometimes when you have anxiety or something like that, you may need a little bit more help so that you can change those B's. Sometimes there's nothing wrong if you need some sort of intervention as far as a medical, a pharmaceutical intervention. And it doesn't have to be constant either. Sometimes when you go into therapy, you have it for a bit until you can get to that part where you can change that B. And then once you make that breakthrough, then things change. So if it comes to something like that and you're just like, I'm in a real, real bad place, please I always have to say, I'm giving this to you as friendly advice. I'm not giving you medical advice right now because we sign all kinds of nifty little papers when we go to college that says, unless I'm sitting here as your therapist or as your physician, I'm just giving this as a friendly advice. And this is just a friendly advice to all my Y sisters. But yes, I can make the diagram for you and show you. And it's crazy to think about because, you know, when I learned about that, I looked at all of the things that are going on in my life and I thought, this has nothing to do. You know, that's why you can be sitting there and something can happen and you can look at people and go, how did they just look and see that happen and do this? It's because their belief system's just different than yours. And that's why it happens. Some people go this way, some people go this way. It's all the belief that we have in our head. So I would be more than happy to make that diagram because if something's not working with C, you just take the B out, you replace it with a different one with D, which is the disputing belief. And it may be easier to see in kind of like a, you know, written down sort of way, but I can make one of those for you and post it in the group. Exactly. Nothing wrong with help. I'm waiting for Kylie to chime in and tell me what's going on because like I can only see like one comment every little bit. Yeah, some.
Oh, somebody just asked me if I was crying. No, my eye's bothering me. No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for checking on me. No, I'm totally good. Yeah, I was just saying, I'm surprised to see how many people struggle with social or with anxiety in general in our business. And I've been surprised to even see, like, when I've gone to Black status events, it's crazy how many people struggle with it.
Yep.
And let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh, there was something else I just read now. Jessica says, I can talk to anyone in person, but in Messenger, my anxiety takes over. This will help a lot. That's surprising. Most people are the opposite because, like, you know how everyone says, like, oh, you're so brave behind your keyboard, you know? It's easier for people to be bullies online and stuff, but we're not bullies. We're actually, like, telling people good things and compliments. But that's awesome. I feel like that's a good skill to be able to talk to people in person. So a lot of people struggle with that. Anxiety to get ladies to join is so high. Becca says her anxiety is so high getting people to join her team.
Right. And so a way you can think about that is if your B is, man, this is giving me a lot of anxiety, you know, look at all of the things that you're offering them. How many people have changed their lives entirely? And when you look at it from that way, if you don't ask someone to join, you're being of a disservice because you could change their life in a way that they could never, ever imagine if you would just reach out and say something. So instead of looking at it as a, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to bother this person in Messenger, look at it as, I'm going to give this incredible opportunity because what if somebody hadn't given it to me? That's bad. That would hurt me in the long run. So you're not hurting them, you're helping them. And if they can't see that now, you know, hey, just keep doing your thing on your wall. They're going to keep seeing it. And maybe later they're going to go, you know what, maybe I should give this a shot. I was there. I was like, there's no way I'm going to sell makeup. Okay, fine. I'll take the discount. 2 days later, I'm painting a room. I'm like, doing it. You know, I'm not. And here I am. So in the same room.
It's so liberating, isn't it? Like there's so much freedom in kind of like dropping the expectations of other people. It's so funny. Like when I think about anxiety, like so much of that is old programming, you guys, like from just birth. I remember like I was obsessed with babies, like ever since I could remember. I just loved everyone's babies, right? And I was always really good with babies. I loved to hold babies. But I remember in church, there was this woman that would always sit right behind me. She had the cutest little baby. And I was probably like 13 or something. And I would just be sitting there thinking, I really want to hold her baby, but I'm so afraid to ask. And I would just like go over and over it in my head. And you know what? Like obviously hindsight's 2020. I'm now an adult and I realized how silly that was. Like I was so afraid if I turned around and said, can I hold your baby? Like we had a small church. Everybody knew everybody. So it wasn't like she was a stranger. But I just remember being so afraid of rejection, like afraid she would tell me I couldn't. And then like the look on my face, right? But like in hindsight, I see like I was actually going to be offering her relief. Like most moms would gladly like let you take her baby off of their hands, you know, because they're exhausted. And you don't see that at the time, you guys. And so so many times in this business when we look at things and we're just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Before you know it, I am telling you, May is coming up on my 5-year anniversary of this business. I cannot tell you how many people I have known the entire time that I've been doing Unique, that I am watching, that are starting direct sales companies or starting businesses with direct sales that I never offer this opportunity to. Maybe Unique wasn't for them, but maybe them watching my journey show them that there's something to this direct sales thing, because I have stayed consistent. I have been here for all those years, but we're really robbing them and us, because a lot of times they're just as nervous as we are. Like, there are very few people you'll talk to that are just like overflowing in confidence. It's very rare. So a lot of times just being that voice to somebody and saying, hey, you know what? I see something special in you. Like, that's going to blow their minds. Once in a great way, I will tell you, literally almost 5 years, I have very rarely had an experience where somebody was mean. It's very rare. Every now and then you'll have somebody kind of rude, but a lot of times too, what I've realized as I mature in this business is I took it as rude because I took it personally, and that was my choice to do that. So maybe they said, oh, that, direct sales isn't for me. And I saw that as rude, when really they were just stating a truth, something for them that they weren't interested. So it's amazing. I feel how I've grown in those areas that, I can now go out in public looking awful, and I'm not so worried. I'm not so worried about what people think anymore, but I don't know. There's just so much of that. Like, you'll notice if you guys just stick it out and you keep doing the things that make you nervous, how much you'll grow in the process. Hold on a minute. I just see so many comments about anxiety. I like Lena said, she plays the awkward dork card and everyone relaxes.
There you go.
Does anybody have any questions for Pam? Pam, I asked you this. I don't know if you ever respond. What was your best sales month to date? Personal.
I'm going to say maybe the second or third month. Here's what happened with my business, quick little synopsis. I started and I was like, selling, okay, I can sell. And so I'm selling all this stuff to people. And what am I selling them? I'm selling them things that they're going to have for the next year. Because, I'm like, this will last you forever. You want this. And then I thought, well, that's great.
Yeah.
And there were a few products that they needed to refill. So I still had a business thing going, but then I thought, okay, I'm doing this all by myself. And I'm talking like in the beginning, I was going 20 hours a day. I was taking a 2-hour nap in the beginning of the day and a 2-hour nap at the end of the day. And the rest of the time I was working the whole time. And that lasted for a long time. And then I finally looked and I said, okay, I have people, the people in the beginning that got all the things, that there's certain stuff they have to refill, right? And so I was like, okay, I got to take a step back. I need to start recruiting people on my team, because one, it's great when you're selling probably close to 20. I don't know. I may have gone over 20,000. I don't remember. It was very, very early, and it was insanity. And then, they've got stuff, and I'm replacing things like BB cream and foundation and mascara and skincare, but like all those palettes, all I have to do is like give them more palettes, which yay on the next palette, because I'm excited. Like, let's do it again, girl. You can keep this palette for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure, we've all got to make sure that when we sell that palette, we got something else to go with it, that they go through faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our eyeshadow, literally, like, you could will it to your children. Like, it will last forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually heard, I don't know if Denise is on here, but she was kind of talking to me about like how she coaches the new people on her team, and she focuses so much on the consumable products. And I think that's obviously, mascara is amazing, because even if they don't wear mascara every day, they really need to replace it every 3 months, just because it gets kind of yuck, like bacteria and all that. So that's why I love months like this with the Flawless, because people that have bought it before are ready to buy it again. Stick foundation is an amazing sell, because guess what, guys? Even though a lot of it's sold out, by the time people need a refill, guess what? It's going to be back in stock, which is going to be perfect, because that stick will last you probably 3 months. So I think it's super smart to focus on the fun products almost as like the upsell, but focusing on those products that you know they're going to reorder, because we want to keep making money, right? So Becca wants to know. She said, "I'm still yellow and I'm on 3 years. We're going to do that this month." Oh wait, hold on, never mind. That's not the one I wanted to ask. Melina. She said, "Here's my struggle. July it will be 3 years and I am yellow status. I get so frustrated I almost can't focus and I get overly zealous. Any suggestions?"
You can't, what is it, I would have to know what you can't focus on. If you can't focus, like with me, a lot in the beginning, I didn't even know how to keep track of all the orders that were coming in. And I was just like, what do I do? So organization helps a lot to keep focused, because I couldn't focus on things. I had people I had to follow up with, and who do I have to follow up with, and who's coming to get their orders, and which orders do I have to mail out, and who do I have to place an order for and mail it to their house, and like all of these things. So I would say, to get your focus, number one, look at how you're organizing all of your information and the things that you have to do. Because if you can get a system in play, like I'll give you a cheat on mine, on like how a system I have, which is really funny, but it works very well. I'm off camera for a second. Okay, so I went to, here's one of my little things I do. I went to Walmart and I got one of these things, and it's the money and receipt, money rent receipt thing. It's like $2, right? And it has these little, you write down what your customer has when they're coming, and when you take the white part off, that means they've been taken care of. And then you get a file, like an index card file thing, and open up the top, and it's an alphabetical order. You just put their stuff in there. And then if it's in here, it's been taken care of. You have the date of when they ordered it. You know everything that's going on. And then when you're sitting there and you're going, I need some sales, you can kind of flip through it and go, well, they ordered X amount of days ago. They're probably going to need that. And you can do that. So it's just little weird things that you can do on your own that doesn't cost anything. I think together this was all probably $5. And it's like it's my tracking system of everything, where things go, where they need to go. And I even decorated it with little stickers like, "You are amazing. You're totally ruling this." Just little things like that, because if you look at that and the motivational things, you start to believe it. You go, "You are amazing. Let's go, girl." You wake up in the morning and it's just little things like that. But organization helps a ton to keep you focused.
That's how somebody sells $20,000 in a month.
With a $5 plan from Walmart. Bam!
Sticks around. I know. You guys, seriously, months like this, I would say, like, with the stick foundations, I knew they were going to sell out, so I ordered extra. And then because I don't have a very good system, it was like, holy crap, did I send hers? Like, I'll create the, like, shipping label in PayPal, and then I'll have to, like, go back in PayPal and find it and make sure that I actually shipped her product. I've had people before that, like, I charged them, took their money, and never placed their order. Like, that's really embarrassing. So, like, and you're going to make mistakes, but having a system in place of how you're going to organize it so you don't run like a crazy person. Like we said, we have anxiety already. We don't need to add to that. Like, that is no fun. I think there was one more question. Let me check. How do you respond when people say, everyone says it's so expensive?
The joining or the buying stuff? Because the joining, I go, okay, well, it's $99. You're getting all this stuff. Plus, if you were to get another job, think of all the stuff you have to buy for it. Do you have to buy suits? Do you have to buy heels? That. If it comes to the buying stuff, I would suggest that they take a trip to Ulta and look there at what they're getting. I just tell them, make a list of the things that you want. I'll tell you what it is. You go and check there. Meet up back with me and tell me how it went. And I'll get some people that will say, I couldn't find what I wanted, but I ended up finding all this stuff, and I paid more than you were going to charge me in the first place, and I didn't even get what I want. I'm like, true. So this way, you're saving money because you know what you want. I get it together for you. I send it to you. You're not being distracted by this thing over here and this thing over here that's just not even going to work for you. Because how many people used to have big containers full of makeup that doesn't work for me because nobody was helping them? You know what I mean? So I let them know, hey, how many things do you have laying around right now that you're not using? And every woman in the world will tell you, oh, I've got quite a few products that I tried and didn't like, and I've either thrown them away or donated them or whatever, you know what I mean? A lot of women though that don't use like a specific brand, like I use this brand, before I use this brand, I would have like 14 different tubes of mascara trying each one to see if I liked it. With this one, I'm like, you don't like it, you send it back to me, I get your money back, we try something else.
Right.
So
yeah, it's kind of like Clickless versus like going to the grocery store. Like when I go to the grocery, I buy way too much crap that I don't need and it goes bad before I touch it. Whereas if I do Clickless, I buy what I need and I use it. And we are kind of becoming that person for, I mean, you guys noticed, like I went to the mall yesterday and 3 stores were closing. Half of them were already closed. Like we are the wave of the future. People do not want to leave their house. They want to shop online. And when we're like Pam just said, and if you guys saw the video I posted in Lash Money today, if not, just go back and kind of like watch the bullets. But it's literally that level of customer service when you take over the sale for the customer and you really suggest things that are going to complement. Because this is the thing. If you send somebody your website, guess what happens? They go to your website looking for the thing, if they even make it to the website, which doesn't happen a lot of times, but they look for the thing that they asked you about. But they have no idea what other products are going to make that thing even better. And if you take control of that and you say, you know what, girl, you think you're going to like that foundation? Wait till you use this primer with it. That foundation will last you double what it would otherwise. Your skin's going to look amazing. You know, it's just making those suggestions for people. And that is how Pam got so many sales in those months, because she wasn't just letting people buy one item. You know, she was upselling over and over again. Didn't you do like a ton of like one-on-one consultation and stuff like that?
yeah, I would show people what they wanted, and then I'd go, you're right, it's great, but watch this. And then I would turn the other side of my face and I'd put the primer on, I put the thing on, I put, you know, Touch Behold powder, which makes everybody look like they've got this flawless look. And I'd be like, which side do you like more? And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm like, so you can do this or this.
Right.
Which one do you want? And then of course they're going to go for the side that looks like it's airbrushed instead of just the side that's just the one product they thought they needed, you know, and explaining to them what it even does. They don't know what primer does. You know what I mean? They don't know what a lot of the things do. They don't know you can make your eyes look more open if you put just a little bit of something, you know, in the corners. So I would just tell them, I would upsell them on the things that they didn't know that they needed, but they needed. Yeah. So I was almost that person, like I was like that shelf at the aisle, you know, where all of the beauty stores are. That's like, you need this. Did you think about this? Hi, how are you? Before you check out, why don't you look at this?
Yeah.
I would just jump on the video with them and be like, hey, let me show you something real quick before you get that.
It's like anything. I mean, people always have a budget, but that budget's almost 99.9% of the time it's flexible. I mean, when my husband and I went in to build a house, we said, absolutely no way are we spending over X amount of money. But then you see the little shiny things and you want the shiny things, so you find a way to make it work. So when you have people that are saying, oh, it's too expensive, they just haven't yet seen the value. So what you want to make sure that you're showing on your timeline and in your consultations and conversations is not what it is, but what it does. Because once they see what it does and why they need it, they won't care as much about the price tag. They need to see why this product costs $39 versus the $10 drugstore foundation that is going to sink into their pores and wear off within a few hours. So by showing them why consistently, like if you go to a lot of the leaders, even like if you go to their pages, or not just leaders, but people that are consistently selling products, you know, and doing a good job with it. If you go to their pages, you're going to see a certain style of post that really show, you know, kind of tell stories instead of just giving facts. So just kind of pay attention to that. Like, if you guys have ever seen that, I think it was, what are they called? With Simon Sinek. You know what I'm talking about? What are those called? Those videos. Oh my gosh. TED Talks. Okay. Yes. So the TED Talks, there's one about Apple and why Apple like is always so successful. It's because they sell a feeling versus a product. So they make their customers feel a way that when that new iPhone comes out, you guys, there are seriously people that don't have money spending $1,200 on iPhones because it's a feeling. They feel that they need this new iPhone because of a marketing ploy from this company. So if you guys can create that feeling with your customers and that build that trust with them through those consultations and delivering, and like Pam said, if they don't love it, you back it up. You make sure that they're taken care of, and you need to follow up. Don't be afraid to follow up. I've done that before. I'm like, oh crap, what if she doesn't like it? But the thing is it's okay if she doesn't like it if you are following up. What's not okay is if she doesn't like it and you never asked her about it, she threw it in the trash and she said she would never buy from you again. If you follow up and find out that she didn't like it, but you offer her a solution or a way to get her money back or another product to try, she's going to have more trust in you. I don't know how we got off on that tangent of now it's sales, but I feel like it's also helpful. So, empty. The foundation outlasts empty nesting tears. You can cry all day and still look hot. I love it. That's hilarious.
I have one in college, and I'm like,
you guys, it is so funny. Like, so that stick foundation, before we like close this down, like I have to say, like originally when I first got it in my hands, I was in the mentality that this was for a high maintenance person. This was for the person that wants the Instagram look, you know, the full coverage face that like looks like she just stepped out of an ad, right? But what I've realized, because I'm very low maintenance normally, like throughout the week, is I can literally put that stick on and mascara and go. Like it is, I never could leave my house without concealer. My dark circles, I hate them. And that stick covers so well that you can actually sell it really well to low maintenance people. I just took one over to my neighbor who like barely wears makeup. It's an amazing product for that. So it's all about just like how we market things and how we show people how they can use it.
So I have something to say about the stick foundation. I've had a couple of people get it and say, I think I'm going to have to return this because it looks too dry and cakey. And then I ask them 2 questions. When was the last time you exfoliated? And what do you moisturize with? Are you using our products? And I have had people like 3 or 4 now, 4 because one girl decided to go ahead and keep it. So I said, exfoliate your skin once for me. Make sure you're nice and moisturized. Use it and let me know. And they were, oh my gosh, that wasn't the product. That was my dead skin. Ew. So if you have somebody that wants to return, it's fine if you want to. Make sure you're within your time, but say, hey, try it one more time and exfoliate and make sure you're moisturized. And they see a world of difference, because I thought the same thing. And then I was like, well, I haven't exfoliated in a while. Let me check that. And I was like, let me moisturize right before I do it. And it makes like a completely different look. So if you have anybody that gets that and they go, I don't know about this, it's cakey, tell them, you know, or ask them when they exfoliate and when they moisturize. And sometimes maybe they'll go, well, I need to do that anyways. And even if they return the stick, you've sold them an exfoliator and a moisturizer, you know? Yeah. So
I actually noticed that with me too. There were a few nights in a row that I fell asleep without washing my face. And it was like the first time I put on the foundation, I was like, crap, it's because I've been lazy and my skin, like I saw right here, my skin was all dry. Like Uology has like changed the whole texture of my face.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of those things, if you don't use it, like you can tell for sure. Mm-hmm. My skin goes back to Ratchet, Hunchback of Notre Dame skin. It's freaking out right now. But yeah, thank you so much, Pam. That was so awesome. And it was so different from really anything that we've heard in a while. So I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us.
No problem. Oh, look at your little kiddo. She's like, I'm sneaking down to see Mama. Sorry, I am in the window.
Oh my gosh.
What's behind Kylie? Yeah, but no problem. We'll make the little. Your daughter was coming down the stairs behind you, and I was like, what's in her hair? And then I realized it was your kid. Like right there.
That's hilarious. Oh, yeah, there she is. She should be in bed, but usually they always bargain with me that they can stay up past the night of my Zoom. So they think that means they can like eat popcorn and watch movies, but no.
Exactly. Okay, and I'll put that diagram in there. I'll probably put it in there tomorrow.
Perfect.
Because I have to go check my child, who also said, since you're doing a Zoom, Mommy, can I stay up and watch a movie?
100%. So you guys, I will post the replay in both Lash Money and in our Merch Madness group. Real quick before we close this down, I know not everybody's still on, but smile for the selfie. Y'all got to prove it. Cheese. All right. Hopefully somebody got them. All right. Make sure you post your takeaway if you are in the Merch Madness group under the unit and in the corresponding post. And I'll see y'all next week, Monday night, same time.
Okay.